How's it going? And today we're going to be doing a market structure breakdown going into the coming week of April 13th to the 17th. I want to make sure that you are prepared. So we're going to be taking a look at the ES and as well as for the Nasdaq. And then afterwards, we're going to be taking a look at the economic calendar as well. You want to make sure when you go into the market, you have a plan, and this video is designed to help you. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a look at the daily chart for the ES. So the first thing that you can notice right away, we were in a downtrend, right? So you can see here, we have lower lows, right? And then you see we had lower highs. So now we have broken out of this area, of course, because of all the geopolitical tension that we've been having. So with that said, the next key level that you want to be keeping an eye on in this market is definitely going to be at that 6,900 level. So we're just going to mark that right now on this chart. So we draw a line right there. So you can see that 6,900 level. Breaking above that will be crucial because we have this 7,000 level. We had the opportunity to trade above 7,000, but as you can see, the sellers were taking full out control. So that might be a target for the ES going into the coming week. So now what we're going to do, let's go down to the lower time frame and let's also clean up this chart because, you know, I like to keep my charts clean. You want to keep it clean as well because when the trading day starts, you want to be able to make a decision, right? So we can see here on this 4-hour time frame, what do we see? We see an uptrend, right? We see the higher lows and we're also seeing the higher highs. The market is moving higher. So we have the daily that's on our side and then we also have the 4-hour that's on our side. To kind of just do a quick review, on the daily, we're breaking out of a downtrend while we're trying to, and then on the 4-hour, you could see that we are uptrending. So now on the 1-hour time frame, this is where I really like to zone in when my day starts after taking a look at the higher time frames that we just looked over and say, okay, where could I find some opportunity? Where is there a clear area where we have sellers and buyers? So the first thing you can notice on this ES, we have the previous day low. One thing that we've noticed, it defended the previous day low. We did not break below it. We stayed above it in regards to price. We also had CPI that came out on Friday. And as you can see, we wicked up higher, but we did not close above it whatsoever. And we did not even close above the previous day high, which is Thursday as well. So what you'd want to be looking at is this level right here is the previous day high, right? This is a very, very important level. So one thing that we've noticed is that support was being able to build right here, right? And this level, to be exact, is right at 6,845 to 6,852. So this is an area where buyers have been showing up. Price comes back down here, being bought up. This was on Thursday. Came back into this area again on Friday, got back up. Then after later on in the afternoon on the Friday, got back into this area and then bounced back up. So the market is giving us information. So another thing that you could also take notice of, we could draw right here, the top wick, right, from the CPI candle. So this is what we have as far as for the range. So you want to look and say, where could you find a trade opportunity, right? If the market is bullish, one of the easiest things that I like to tell traders is like, if price can stay above the previous day high, that means the market is comfortable with trading at higher prices, right? If it's trading below the previous day high, this is where we could have some friction. So what tends to happen, we could have liquidity grabs. So the market could come out, break stops, take out stops above the highs, and then try to come back down to the lows. And then that's where also, to kind of give you a heads up, we have an imbalance here in this area. So what this means is we could take out this support that we had on the Friday, come inside of this imbalance area and look for potential bounces or buyers wanting to step in and then trying to push price back up higher. So that is a great way to actually get some context and also know, hey, this is what I want to look out for. These are the spots that I'm looking. You don't want to be taking trades in the middle of the range. So that's what it looks like for the ES. Yes, it did have a red day on the Friday, but it wasn't that major. As you can see, it was only down an overall of 8 points. So it's still in position to go higher if it decides to do so. But if it does decide to pull back, you know some areas that you want to look at. As far as for this imbalance area, it's between 821 and 851. This is a bigger imbalance because we are on the 1-hour time frame. So you want to go down on the smaller time frames or whatever strategy you use, kind of find ways of how you can enter the market depending on what the structure is at that particular period in time. So if we take a look at the daily chart on the Nasdaq, same thing, right? We're coming off as far as for the beginning of the year of 2026. You can see we were downtrending, right? Lower highs, lower lows, and then we broke out, right? for geopolitical reasons in regards to the ceasefire. The market really liked that. So now what we're looking at here, where's Nasdaq wanting to go? What was very key for this week is that we were able to hold above 25,000. We did have those moments where we pulled back underneath it, but again, Nasdaq fought hard and finished above the 25,000 mark, 25,281.25 to be exact. So with that in mind, key levels that you want to be watching is going to be 25,500. So let's just mark that on the chart. So you have that 25,500. So this is going to be a very, very crucial area here, because if we can get above this level, then that's where I'm looking for us to start to get into that 26,000 level. As you know, that would be a psychological level. There's a lot of traders looking at that. If we break above that, again, that's where we can start taking a peek, getting closer to those all-time highs. Keep in mind, we do have earnings season that got kicked off, and it's also one of the reasons why the Nasdaq actually had a better day than the ES, right? The ES ended up having a down day on the Friday, but then the Nasdaq ended up having an up day of 0.12%. And what we're going to do, we're going to go on the lower time frame, and we're going to get rid of our drawings so we can clear up this chart, remove those drawings, boom. So what we could see on this 4-hour time frame, what do we see? We are seeing higher lows, higher highs. The market is trending up higher. But then take a look at the Nasdaq here versus the ES. You can see that we were able to close above the previous day high. So let's go down to the 1-hour time frame. As we take a look at the 1-hour time frame, closing above the previous day high, one of the big reasons for this, we had Taiwan Semiconductors that ended up releasing earnings. So tech overall, chips and so on, had a very, very strong day. And this is why we had a discrepancy between the Nasdaq and the ES. They do share a lot of stocks, but since Nasdaq is just tech, that's why we were able to have a much stronger day than the ES. So with that said in mind, where do you find the opportunities, right, to get into this market? So the market is trading above the previous day high. Like I said previously, that is a sign of strength. So could we get a pullback, right? That is the big question. Can we get a pullback to the previous day high and then get the move for the continuation? The other question is that we have to look at is we have the CPI candle. We didn't close above the CPI candle, but it's an area showing us that, you know, we do have some sellers, right? Boom. We draw that out. So that is a clear area where we know sellers are hanging out. You can see how big of a sell candle we have here. This is pretty significant. So we know price coming back into this area, there's going to be a little bit of friction. And now we're going to draw another zone to see what we need to be looking at here, right? So we could see buyers are stepping in. We could see that they stepped in here on the Thursday, stepped back here on the Friday as well. And then later on in the afternoon on the Friday, when the market is trying to push down further, it still respected this level. You could also tell this was also previous resistance in the past. But with that said, it's the range of 204 to 240. So something to keep in mind. So even if we do break back down below the previous day high, you'd want to see this particular area of the 25,200 level hold up. Is it going to hold? That is a big question. If you see bullish structure in this area, then you know you could take that up to the long side. If we get back up near that CPI candle high or where the highs we had for Nasdaq on the Friday and we get some rejections, then you can look for a high risk reward short, right? Makes perfect sense. So on this 1 hour time frame, we also have an imbalance, right? So we have the imbalance. I'm going to draw that in. So we have this imbalance here. Boom. Right here. So what this means is, since we have an imbalance in this particular area on the Nasdaq, price could pull down to these areas. So let's say, for example, we decide to go back down to previous day high, not break above it, or we have some weakness down here and the Nasdaq just decides to have a lot of selling pressure. This could be the area where bulls are going to be watching to get in. Of course, you got to be going on a smaller time frame, right? I don't trade off the 1 hour, especially if you're trading with prop firms. You're going to be most likely trading on a 5 or a 15-minute chart. So this range is pretty big. So this range is between 25,163.25 and then the low of it is 25,056. So we're pretty much talking about a 100-point range here. So again, whatever your strategy is, just know this could be an area where price is going to react a lot within this range. The one thing that we can see that is clear though, just to make sure you guys have notes of this, the recent support for Thursday and Friday is between 25,200. We know that we have sellers hanging out here at this 25,350 to just under 25,400. Add that to your notes. So that's pretty much what sums this up and what you want to be looking at. And now, like I promised, we're going to be taking a look at the economic calendar so you're not caught off guard when you're entering the market for the coming week. So as we take a look at the economic calendar for this coming week, there's not a lot of red folder news, so like high impact news for this coming week. So you can see on Monday, April the 13th at 10 a.m. EST, we do have existing home sales. And then on Tuesday, we have PPI. So if you are going to be trading around these particular red folder newses, just know this brings in extra volatility. So if you are in a trade, just make sure you manage your risk correctly or be prepared for that volatility that's going to be coming in. If you've been trading for like the past week since we've been having a lot of this geopolitical tension, it's definitely a minefield out there, right? News could just come and then boom, something happens, you're just caught off guard. But hey, one thing you can control is managing your risk. So as far as Monday and Tuesday, that's the only red folder news that we have for this entire week. We do have Fed speakers. That's something to be aware of as well. So we could see that the Fed speakers start off on Monday. The good thing is this is not going to be happening until the Globex session. So if you trade the Globex session for futures, then just know Fed Myron is going to be coming on. And then as far as for Tuesday, during the trading day, the New York session, then we have Fed Goolsbee coming in at 12:15, Fed Barr coming in at 12:45, Collins at 1. So again, pretty loaded during this particular period of time. So there could be some volatility depending on what they say or what their thoughts are that will move the markets. And then on Wednesday, again, we have Fed Barr that's going to be coming on at 8:30 a.m. EST, so 1 hour before the New York Open. And then we have Bowman that's coming on at 1:45 p.m. And then on Thursday, as usual, we have the initial jobless claims that comes out inside of the pre-market. That could bring in some volatility as well if we have like any big surprises. Not a lot, not considered to be red folder whatsoever. And then we also have Fed Williams that's going to be coming on at 8:35 a.m. And then we also have Fed Myron coming on at 10:35 a.m. as well. And then on Friday, no major news at all, just Fed speakers, which we have at 12:15 Fed Barkin, and then at 2 p.m. we have Fed Waller that's going to be speaking. So again, not a heavy news week by any means, but just make sure that you keep an eye out for the headlines. If you notice any drastic movements, just try to get a feel of what happened. But at the end of the day, like I always say, one thing you can control is managing your risk. And also, just to let you know, I have started a free school community. What is involved? You are getting access to a free course. That is right. I'm giving you guys a free course showing you how to trade futures from A to B, the best way to scale if you're using prop firms and so on, and just getting an understanding of how to trade the right way. There's a lot of information out there, and I just want to make sure you get a head start and you're not confused. So I created that community. You can find a link inside the description. I'll probably just add it to the comments as well, so you can go and check that out. Like I said, it is completely free. It does not cost you anything. I just want to see you guys succeed. So hope you found this helpful. Hey, and if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more videos like this, I'm going to be doing this every week, then subscribe to the channel. Good luck on your trading week. I know you're going to crush it.